Are you ready for the latest twists in the Vancouver Canucks preseason saga? Just when we thought we had a solid lineup, it turns out some key players are feeling the heat as their stock takes a dive. Who's struggling to keep their spot? And how does this impact our chances for the upcoming season? Stick around as we break down the latest developments and what it means for our beloved team. And hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a like to stay in the loop with all things Canucks. So, yesterday, we took a deep dive into the players from the Vancouver Canucks whose stock has risen during this year's NHL preseason. Names like Atte Rady, Daniel Sprong, and the newly extended Nils Höglander have made headlines. But today, let's flip the script and focus on those players whose stock has unfortunately taken a hit. First up is Pius Suter. Let's be real here. Before his injury during the game against the Edmonton Oilers, Suter was just having a decent preseason. After showing promise alongside JT Miller and Brock Boeser at the tail end of last season, he needed this preseason to solidify his spot. But the fact that he's not a lock for the third or even fourth center role speaks volumes. While Atte Rady has pushed through and claimed that third center position, Suter now finds himself in a precarious situation, just hanging on by being a veteran. With the competition heating up, he must capitalize on every opportunity in the early games if he hopes to stay relevant. Then we have Phil DiGiuseppe, who is in a bit of a different boat. It seems he became collateral damage due to the Canucks trying to optimize their LTIR space. With that no longer being a concern, the big question is whether he'll still be the first call-up if the Canucks need a winger. After all, Arshdeep Bains has been turning heads with his impressive camp performance. And let's not forget he was an AHL All-Star last season. DiGiuseppe has never had a bad camp, but has he slipped down the depth chart? That's the million-dollar question. With Dakota Joshua still sidelined, things are looking tough for DiGiuseppe to make the NHL roster, especially when Joshua returns. Now let's talk about Jiri Patera. Technically, his stock took a hit, but only because it skyrocketed the moment Thatcher Demko went down with an injury. Originally brought in as a depth option for the AHL, Patera was expected to share the NHL crease with Artur Silovs. However, his camp performance didn't inspire much confidence, leading the Canucks to bring in Kevin Lankinen shortly after. Patera looked solid in his lone preseason game, but after a weird waiver wire experience, he's heading back to the AHL. It's a tough break for him, especially when he had a brief moment in the spotlight. Then we have Danila Klimovich, who is struggling to build on a promising AHL season. He arrived at camp hoping to impress, but ended up being remembered more for a punch thrown during a spirited drill than for any standout play. His stock was already low heading into this season, and after this preseason, it's hard to see a path for him to bounce back. With a new head coach in Manny Malhotra, can Klimovich turn things around? He better hope so, because if he can't even crack the top 9 in the AHL, his future with the Canucks could be in jeopardy once his entry-level contract expires. Lastly, we have Nils Åman, who finds himself in a similar predicament as Suter. With Atte Rady overtaking him on the depth chart, Åman's stock has definitely taken a hit. Signed to a 2-year extension last season, he was supposed to be a solid contributor, but it seems he's fallen behind. Rick Tocchet has emphasized the need for Åman to improve his conditioning and overall strength, but it doesn't look like that progress has been made. With no real repetitions at center, he's among the first candidates to exit when Dakota Joshua is healthy. The expectations weren't sky-high for him, but this preseason certainly hasn't helped his case to become a regular in the NHL this season. So, you have it, folks. These players have their work cut out for them as the season approaches. Do you think this is the right path for the Canucks? I, for one, am torn on some of these decisions. What about you? I want to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. Let's discuss your expectations and frustrations heading into this season. And remember, if you want to stay updated on all things Vancouver Canucks, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And make sure to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any key updates.